I think back to my grandma and grandpa Janino's dark, musty, detached garage in their old home, built in the early 20th century. They called it a car barn, which to my little mind didn't make sense. I don't remember seeing a car in there. And besides that, barns are for horses. And what I recognize now is it was a vestige of an earlier era where horses were the means of transportation, wonderfully mysterious. So their car barn was actually a treasure trove of all kinds of past, I don't know, goodies, things that represented history. My grandfather was an Italian immigrant and pure blooded Italian. And my grandmother was Swedish. It was an interesting home. Anyway, the car barn was officially off limits to me as a child. And it wasn't until they passed and the property was for sale that I was even allowed inside. And what I found there, I was probably about 12 or 13 when the property was for sale. What I found there was a young explorer's dream. You know, the imagination could just go wild. There were railroad lanterns. My grandfather had been a boilermaker. That tells you something about the age he was in. A boilermaker for Southern Pacific Railroad. There were antique cigar boxes made out of wood, not cardboard. And there were these vibrantly painted tobacco and cookie tins that had the paint peeling off. I mean, tins, really? They were tinged with rust. And then there were fascinating bottles of all shapes, sizes, and hues. It was fascinating to me. And I, of course, gathered a whole bunch of it up to keep for some reason. It's got to be a treasure if the adults kept it, right?
Yeah.
So my imagination about 6 or 7 months ago, my imagination kind of went wild when I was thinking about Ephesians 2:10. And I imagined being in this car barn and being the young Heidi again, and my eyes gazing with wonder at the contents inside that car barn, along with the lanterns and the fruit crates and fruit crates. I didn't even know fruit came in crates as a kid. And other interesting trinkets and treasures. Imagine a piece of brown canvas tarp covers what appears to be a painting, obscured by years of dust and cobwebs. The place was dusty for sure. And it captures my fancy as a 12-year-old and joins the rest of my treasures for the haul back home as a 12-year-old. And then continue to imagine with me years later when I'm preparing to move away from my parents' home into my own space. I dig everything out of my closet, and in the back part of my closet is this relic from my grandfather's car barn. And at first glance, after I take the tarp off of it, or canvas, it wouldn't have been tarp, but the painting seems faded and unremarkable, kind of gross. And then to my young eye, it also looks weird. Nearly discarded. Okay, taking it out to the garbage. I got to sift through things. I can do that now as a 19-year-old. My mother, who was an art aficionado and collected and was a member of the art gallery, blah, blah, blah. She saves it from the trash. Imagine. This is like the fictionalized version of my story. Her connections in the art world then lead to an appraisal with an astonishing revelation that the piece is an unknown work by Vincent van Gogh. Can you imagine? Of course, we didn't find a Van Gogh in the car barn, but it serves to illustrate something for us here. No matter where this painting was, no matter how it was treated, it was created and crafted by the master, Vincent van Gogh. No matter if it was covered or forgotten, tossed aside for the trash, grabbed by a 12-year-old, or appraised by Crocker Art Museum in Sacramento, California, and then even restored and placed on a museum wall with a gilded frame or whatever they would do to a Van Gogh. Probably not a gilded frame, but anyway, it was and always will be forever a Van Gogh. It just is, no matter how it's treated or what it looks like. It is a precious treasure, a masterpiece, just because of one thing and one thing only, the one who created it.
Yay, because I get to read the verse. Ephesians 2:10. Here's the truth that we can all just hang on to and rest in and enjoy every single day, for we are God's masterpiece. He has created us anew in Christ Jesus, so we can do the good things that he planned for us long ago. I love it. So, I mean, many of us grapple with feelings of self-doubt, especially when society speaks so loudly, loud about self-improvement. Excuse me. I knew I'd have frogs this morning. Do better. We kind of joke in our family. My daughter, my 22-year-old, will say to her dad, let's do better. We'll joke about that. But that is what we hear all the time from society. Can't you do better? Can't you have more? Can't you look better? Come on. It's all about performance. Let's win, And then about our bodies, we tend to think that our bodies used to be perfect gifts. Oh yeah, that was great, when I was a baby. But yeah, since then, we think we've ruined our bodies. All of our choices and the things that have happened has ruined our bodies, and we're no longer a masterpiece.
And that is a lie from the pit of hell, because
yes, it is.
Like that dusty imaginary Van Gogh in my grandparents' car barn, our value is not diminished by our current state, or how we've treated our bodies, or what we think of ourselves, or what other people say they think of us. The master who created us, the master alone, gives us our worth. No matter how obscured by life's dust and cobwebs we might feel, no matter the scars or the wear, you and I, remain priceless treasures.
Yes. So Jesus's message isn't conditional. He doesn't measure our value based on our physical appearance or condition. He doesn't.
No, really.
I just want to, bring that home. He doesn't. That's not what it says in his word. We are his masterpieces, not because how we look or feel, but because of what? Who made us? You are a precious treasure. I am a precious treasure. A masterpiece simply because we were created by the master.